Okay, I'm in.
The first couple weeks, you guys like showed up and brought coffee, and you guys even brought me a coffee.
Yeah, well now we're
and
straight
it set
to
up this
business.
false expectation of me. Like I'm like, I wonder if they
now
can
we're
bring me
straight
a
to
coffee
business.
today. And then you both walk in, and neither of you brought a
Adam
coffee
used to be
today.
really
and I'm like,
early, and Adam used to be really early, and now we're both getting here like barely on time. I'm usually like 4 minutes late.
Well, I was tired of standing outside in the rain for 25 minutes holding a coffee, so I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to stay at home until 10:02 and drive down.
Fair one.
So, anyway.
I saw you sitting outside of my garage, like outside of my driveway, and I walked downstairs, opened up the garage, and it still took you 10 minutes to get inside.
I was outside talking to Terry. My life is falling apart this week, Dan.
That's true.
So, let's put that on the fucking internet.
Internet, we're fucking falling apart over here. Dan's at the resort to making BDSM furniture.
Yeah. Know what? It's good profit.
Dude, honestly,
I'll play test that shit.
I'm telling you, man.
Just for an income.
I'm telling you, you will make so much money from doing that.
From making making sex swings.
I'm telling you.
Yes.
We'll shout it out. We'll pay for your Instagram page because look, nerds are freaks.
No, totally. They
freaky.
totally are. Yeah.
They're freaky.
But no, the thing about it is, you charge $1,600 for it, and people will buy it, and they'll pay cash. They don't want that shit in their credit card, right? Like,
Yeah.
So, like, you,
especially if
you
you
don't
give
have to. There's no tax on any of this shit, right?
Give your company a really obscure name that's like that nobody wants to ask for a refund from.
Like Dildopolis, right? Like
Jameson James Paper Company.
Well, you start with that, and that's who they write the check to. But then when they want a refund because your shit falls apart because you didn't actually, screwing is up to them, right? So. If you want this wood nailed, you do it yourself. So when they just get raw lumber show up, like I want my refund, then you write them a check, but the check is for like buttfuckers.com or something, and nobody's going to the bank to cash that, right?
Oh, shit. I swear that's what movie is that on? Is it Lock, Stock, or something?
It's something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
but
definitely
it's a solid model, and this is how you do it.
Buttfuckers.com is a solid model.
Well,
probably.
I mean, all the
Probably
models on there are pretty solid.
Let me find it. Okay. That was a good cold open.
Pretty good cold open. This is a mile away from what you wanted to start on, I bet.
It's all right. Okay. Well, should we just go straight to it after that?
No, I kind of want to do what you were talking about beforehand.
Well, I feel like it's just going to be redundant after this.
All right, we'll save it for the next one.
Okay, sure. Okay, well, on that kinky bombshell, I'm actually really excited about this episode. Dan, God damn it! I swear to God.
Okay, that one wasn't my fault. That one wasn't my fault.
You didn't cough the whole time we were here.
No, I was taking a drink and then you made a joke.
I swear,
and I got stuck.
I didn't even make a joke.
He's just a funny individual, Dan.
And not
Looks
even
aren't everything, Adam.
I'm incredibly insecure most of the time. And I'm just trying to get through this, okay?
Okay,
You didn't cough. We've been here like 20 minutes as soon as we start.
It's a passive aggressive trait of mine. I can't help it. It's like if you're boring me, I'm just gonna cough in the middle of your sentence.
Let me drink my Tim Hortons coffee. Hey,
Sponsor us.
There's a Starbucks on the way up the hill. I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
there's like three Starbucks.
There's a Starbucks, 7-Eleven, and a Tim Hortons.
I've been
all
drinking
within
this
distance.
dirty dishwater for the past 6 months, not knowing there's a Starbucks down there.
That is dirty Canadian dishwasher. That Starbucks is not coffee. That is just
Starbucks is
it's
Seattle.
Just liquid dessert.
Seattle's close enough.
Is.
We're going to absorb them at some point. So
I'm pretty sure you have to wear Lululemon pants to go into Starbucks these days.
And Uggs.
And have a man bun.
Yeah, well,
you're halfway there.
I got two out of three of those. I was actually going to buy some Uggs. Never mind. Okay. We are talking world building. This is the first world building episode.
Second one.
Second world building episode. Yep. But let's go. Well, let's run the music. Don't cough, Dan.
Welcome to It's a Mimic with your DMs, Adam, Dan, and Terry.
I made it.
See? No, I wasn't ready to begin. Okay. So, team, we have a number of topics we want to talk through with regards to world building. I think something which there's a lot of confusion about out there with DMs is how much prep should be done before the session and just overall in the campaign. We argue amongst ourselves constantly about how much prep should be done.
Mostly you two belittle me for how little prep I do.
Would we say belittle?
Well, it's
actively
not
antagonize?
Yeah, reduce to tears.
After every podcast, I just go catatonic and like... no, what I'll do is I'll stand in front of the mirror like that guy from SNL and be like, you're important, people like you, That's what I'll have to do to myself after each recording of this podcast.
I am happy, I'm healthy. What does he say on Evan Almighty? Good movie.
Oh, I don't know.
I have never watched that piece of shit.
Okay, somebody tell me. Okay,
Jim Carrey pretending to be God? You haven't watched that?
No, this is Bruce Almighty. Evan Almighty.
Right.
Steve Carell.
Pretending to be Noah.
Steve Carell. Steve Carell is in Bruce Almighty very briefly as
Yes.
Evan. Anyway, back on topic. We're going to talk about what is the minimum amount of prep. What is the minimum amount of prep for DMs and for players? What you two and myself prep before a session, and yes, let's leave it open so we can discuss it in more detail. You guys ready to roll on this?
Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, let's go. In the box, get it, son. 11.
What is this natural?
Oh!
You
Did you just roll a nat one?
I bought these. That is the first roll on this die.
And it's a natural one.
It's a nat
Is
one.
that your
Burn
first ever
these
nat one
dice.
on the podcast?
Yeah, in life.
This is
I don't know. You botched pretty hard in the looks.
Actually,
department.
I can't remember the last time you botched. That's true. Episode 19, and you rolled a 1.
Oh, you should have seen. We played D&D the other night, and
What?
Adam's friend Charlie rolled like
There were 8. It was a 2.5 hour session. He rolled 8 natural 20s and 3 nat 1s.
Bullshit.
And
in a 2.5 hour session.
yeah, it was bonkers.
And our other friend who we've shut up before, Megan, she rolled like 6 crits herself, like 5 crits herself,
Really?
like yeah. And Adam was rolling like balls the entire night, and I was
Oh,
like, straight
I
middle.
couldn't get anything above
Megan's a
13.
D&D beast.
I
Yeah,
got,
she is.
it was the session where my Aarakocra got killed by a intellect devourer, and Adam just kind of hands the monster stat over to me and makes me read the thing where they eat your brain and take over your personality.
Oh,
Yeah, he's like, that's for you, and I read it and I'm like, huh, all right.
take over your personality.
Yeah.
It's really easy to do.
Yeah.
I can. If I drop 4 of these on the table, I will murder a level 20 wizard
Wow.
if they get to go first.
If they-
That's it. Like
Initiative's
It's
important, man.
it's a CR12 Constitution save, was it, or Wisdom?
it's a CR2 monster. It's
Sorry,
DC.
DC 12.
Intellect.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's an intelligence save. DC 12 intelligence
Hmm.
save. And if you don't make it, you're unconscious.
Yeah, straight up, it drops you to 0 intellect, and you fall unconscious until
There's a couple more mechanics in there,
Yeah.
but it's super easy. Anyway, not the point. Who went first?
Me!
With your shit brown dice? Fuck, I'm getting a new die. You talk. I'm going to be over here taking some dice.
Bye, Adam. Adam has left the room.
I still love you.
I am going first. What is the minimum amount of prep that I believe a DM should do? Well, you guys know that I like to stay flexible. Not in real life. My flexibility is atrocious.
you're doing better than we are, dude.
So, for regards to minimum prep for each session, I don't actually do that much, really, because what I believe...
Pardon?
Honestly, I believe that you should understand what the overall arc is in your world. Game of Thrones fans out there will know, for example, that there is a huge war going on between various families. That is the big arc. But session to session, I don't need to plan that much what Hot Pie is doing. You know, I just need to know where he is, who the NPCs around him are. I need to have access to their stat blocks, and I need to know what is going on in the world in that area.
And you need to know a
else
little
is
bit
up to
about
the
their
players.
personality, too. Like, what do they want? Right?
Well,
You do
yes.
this you do this as you're building the character initially, and then they just kind of sit in the world until your party interacts with them.
Yeah, but I'm saying, so I just need to know what is around the players and what is going on in the world.
Yeah.
Because if you plan too much, or if I plan too much, they're going to go off what I'm expecting. It also stops me from being flexible. Because now I'm like, no, I thought you were going to go down Baker Street, and you went down Bond Street, and now we're over here, and I can't adjust. And I'm someone who needs to be loosey-goosey all the time.
Yeah.
So as long as I have those bare essentials, I have enough faith in my own skills as a person that I'll be able to adapt to whatever's going on. So my prep is actually quite minimal.
All right. Well, I'm kind of the same. For as much shit as you guys give me for being a low prep DM, that's fairly the same. I do have the kind of knowledge to make up monsters on the fly. So I wouldn't recommend you guys do that out there in internet land. But I would say, like, get an idea of what you want the plot, what you want the session to go like. Just an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Have an idea of where your plot is going. And then what I do every week for my prep is I'll grab like 3 NPCs that I want give the party an opportunity to meet up, and I will build them in a very loose form, like name, race, job, and their desires and their fears. And then I will maybe throw a couple monsters in random that the party's been like, oh, we haven't fought this for a while, or I'll think we haven't fought this for a while, or something that'll be on theme. Like if we're about to hit a fire temple of some sort, I'm not throwing in a bunch of shambling mounds. Yeah. Unless they're also on fire, and that's badass.
I think your prep is even less than mine. Because, I mean, I think I would be... You're saying that you'll throw in a couple of monsters, like you're kind of... I think I would know what is in my world around.
But, and I think this is an important thing to mention. Up until this point, we've given me quite a lot of heck for not really going too deep into planning my sessions. But the other thing is, and this just occurred to me, I typically run like 3-hour to 4-hour top sessions.
Yeah.
Whereas Adam, who is the prepping guru of this podcast, you aren't really happy unless your session's like 8 sessions. Plus, right?
Yeah,
so there's more prep required.
I've run 8 to 14-hour sessions pretty consistently for well over a year and a half now. So.
Yeah. So that's also another aspect. Like, figure out how long you're going to be playing for. I'm a part of a group that plays regularly at 2 and 2.5 hours. So like, there's 1, maybe 2 combats you need for that, or 1, maybe 2 encounters you need for that amount of time, because your players are going to bullshit and fill the empty space. And as players, bullshit and fill the empty space. Like, a good D&D session doesn't necessarily require you to even roll dice at any point in time, as long as you're playing characters, interacting socially with things. Like,
I think there is a certain, like I give my style and you did their down, there's a certain, from knowing Adam's sessions, a certain comfort and stability that comes from the amount of prep that Adam does, where it's I always know that Adam has a plan and has it figured out, even if we're going what feels like completely off the rails. It's like Adam is psychic and is like, oh, you've done that thing, goes into his tube and just pulls out a map. How did you know we were going to go over there? Here is my map, ready to go.
Yeah, and that does inspire a lot of confidence
from the players, I think, as well.
From the players and from the DM, like, there's a lot of relational confidence that can happen when you know your DM has done the prep. I know a lot of my players have been like, oh, Dan's just winging this anyways, on sessions where I've actually put in the time and effort to prep it. And they're, laissez-faire. I think that's...
Laissez-faire.
Laissez-faire.
Or blasé, one of the two.
Okay, still. Their blasé attitude about my sessions sometimes really hits hard when I've actually put in the effort this week. Like, guys, I actually had a free evening and put in the effort.
Actually did the homework this week.
Yeah, so how about you don't ride my ass and
but this
play
week
in my
my dog really did eat it.
That's yeah. Adam?
Okay, first of all, you're both full of shit. Because I know for a fact that you don't do minimal prep work. I know, Terry, that you walk around your apartment going... and his voice should be deeper like that. No.
When I'm driving.
Deeper like that. Yeah, right. I know that you work on your NPCs and their voices and their mannerisms.
I was actually doing one on the way here.
Were you? I do it too, but they're so foul-mouthed no matter what the voice is. But
Adam's prep is, their name, their race, their class, their desires, their flaws, and how they say fuck. That's how he builds a character.
Yeah, every dwarf just says "fuck." And Dan, I know that you're sitting there at work hammering things. What do you do? Is that?
I'm a carpenter. Yeah. Okay. So hammering things is accurate.
Yeah. So, but you are running over possibilities in your head of what to do next.
Yes.
And you're trying to figure out every one of your characters, every one of your players has a specific arc that they're going on, and you are trying to feed each of them enough to keep them interested, but I know that you also do it separately from each other a lot of the time. When it's my character over here and Brad's character over there and Grady's character over there, and they've all got their own arc that they're going on, and they have nothing to do with each other, and you're balancing 7 arcs, right? So there's a lot more than just, like, we're talking about prep, like, do I sit down and draw a map? Do I come up with the table? Do I have this handout for someone? But there's a lot more prep work that goes into it, and it's the mental effort that you're putting in. The other thing that I want to point out is I do a ton of prep before the campaign ever starts, and I do a ton of prep if I'm working off a module. On a week by week, I have a pretty good idea of where I'm going and what I'm doing, and I do about a 1-to-1. however many hours I know we're going to play.
You spend most of your midweek prep doing map drawing. Like you spend quite a large section of your week just scribbling maps on an inch by inch.
Yeah, it's going to be 3/4 of my time is doing maps. But while I'm doing maps, I draw them out in pencil first, and I mean very, very loosely. I'm not an artist, so it's just like,
never mind.
This line is a wall, this line is a door, this line is a window. If I walk away for 3 days, come back, I go, I don't know what I was doing. Fuck it, start a new map. So, but
and I was wickedly drunk.
But I will sit down, and I mean, I'm in a long distance relationship, so I'm on the phone while I'm doing it, or it's 10 o'clock at night, right? So I'm sitting there by myself with music playing or a podcast going or something, just kind of lost in my own world, just drawing on the map, and then I color it in. Yeah. And so I'm doing all of my prep work while I'm making a map. The map is an afterthought.
You confided in me once. You have
and never again.
And never again.
Because now you're telling the world.
That's about to be on the internet.
Adam did confide you once. You should tell the internet right now.
No. Adam actually gave me a peek behind the curtain, I guess, a bit, and showed me where a lot of the inspiration for our current campaign came from. And it was in his drive to get me to watch Westworld. He was like, you need to watch Westworld. This show is the shit. It is the literal shit. It is possibly, and I think now you've gone to, it is definitively the best show you've ever seen.
Westworld?
Yes. Yeah. Hands down. I will declare that right now. We've only got 2 seasons, but it is tight and it hasn't made a misstep yet.
And I am like 4 episodes in,
is it good?
And I've had to rewatch like 2 episodes to understand what the shit just happened. Yeah, it's phenomenal. It pays off little things.
But I sit there and
unlike other HBO products.
But I will listen to the soundtrack, and that's what it is.
And he sits there and he listens to the soundtrack, which is like Black Hole Sun played on a saloon piano,
like a player. Piano.
That's cool,
right? So he'll listen to this, and that is the soundtrack to Westworld, but it's also the soundtrack to our world that you've created for this campaign.
Yeah,
and I think that's amazing because you'll just sit with it playing, and you'll draw a map with
gets you in the right mental space.
Yeah, the thing is that I grab. I mean, I guess people will be more familiar with Game of Thrones, and I do listen to a lot of Game of Thrones stuff as well, where I'm listening to this music, and I've got this one track that's going to be 7 minutes long, that while I'm working on a map, and I'm thinking in my own head, this is background music, there's no lyrics in it, it's just going, it's orchestral, and it just goes. But this is the theme song for this one character. Or then I pick another one, and that's the theme song for someone else's character. And I will make a playlist of these and just put them kind of on a loop. So when I'm sitting there trying to think, what is your character going to do? I'm drawing the map. I'm like, you know what? We haven't had a battle that's really focused on Terry's ability to fly recently. Let's put it outdoors. We'll put a lot of undead around because he's a cleric and he's flying around and he's probably going to use his spiritual guardians and wipe out a bunch of stuff. So I'm building this map, listening to his music, and while I'm doing
What's my music? I have music?
Yeah, wait, everybody has music. I'll show you something. I'll flip you a link.
I forgot what Lockie's song is, but he was...
It's The Entertainer.
Yeah.
But
mine's Move, bitch! Get out of the way! I don't know, probably not. Sorry,
done as a, Western
on a saloon piano.
Yeah.
But no, so my prep work, but I do it all ahead of time. I go on a almost like a fever dream hyper. Like if I were to take speed and then sit down and work on a
Adam's in
campaign.
his kitchen dropping acid and drawing maps.
It's not even dropping acid. I'm just like I just need to get it done now and just be good. And here, and this is going to connect over here, and I'm just freeform creating, and I don't know if it's all going to work.
The red string, spider webs.
Yeah, and so I'm taking my notes, and I'll do that for a month leading up to a campaign, and then I'll revisit it 100 times, and if it makes sense and I understand the logic behind it, I never have to prep it again.
Yeah.
And I don't run it to a lot of people run backstory, or they run, which I consider past, or they run the geography, which I consider present. I run the future from where we are at session 1 to where are we going to be at session 100.
Yeah.
And what are all of the enemies going to do, and what are the big NPCs, and where are they going to go? And I have that story, and it's your job to wreck my plan.
Yeah. Do you try to?
I love that.
Do you try to plan session by session? I know you and I have had discussions, and our friend Russell, he kind of plans the same way, where he'll be like, okay, so for 4 sessions, you guys will be here. So this will be sessions 1 through 4. And then around session 4, you will move to this area, which will be a 1, maybe 2 session arc. So you'll be in this area, and then sessions, this to this, you'll be here. Or as Russell's also done, is be like, well, level 1 to level 3, you're here, and then level
I don't
4
do that.
to end 4.
That's railroading, 100%. Because now you're telling me that from session 1 to 4, you are here. You will be there, no matter what.
Well,
I'm going to Truman show you into this.
No, I think there's a certain amount of from session 1 to 4, these are the things that are happening. How does the party solve it?
Well,
right?
yeah, but it's not that because
that's not real railroading.
If you do that and you say, hey, you know what, I'm going to have this awesome. Let me give you an example where I thought that it was going to go, and I had a bunch of maps prepped, and I'm like, this is what's going to happen. There are giants. There are 98 giants that are running a siege at this walled city, and they are some of them. The cloud giants can get inside the walls without any problem. There's a fire giant king. The ordning has been shattered, and they're all coming together. You've got a handful of storm giants that are on your side, and they're over there in the distance doing their own separate battle, trying to get into the city. And you guys were supposed to retreat. The walls get knocked down. Here we go. Everybody, all the NPCs died, but there's this network of underground tunnels. We were going to do guerrilla warfare where you guys are popping up at different points in the city. We had been in the city for months, but we'd never gotten a map of the city. So I was really excited about drawing those maps out and having you guys pop up and take out key members of the giant society and military and politics and whatnot. Yeah. And you were going to go on this great big, amazing, massive battle over the next 3 or 4 sessions, right? Is what I figured.
Of us just popping out of sewer grates and,
and
shanking a fire giant and then popping back down.
Like a resistance, something like enemy of the gates type stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm sitting there going, so how would the giants fix this? They would reroute a water supply and try to flood you guys out at one point. Right? And I don't know when that's going to happen, but it's going to happen. That's going to be one of the things that I'm going to roll on a random table to see if it occurs to the giants to do that. And so I've got this big prep. It's been in my back of my head for about 3 months. Yeah. They get up to the front gates. You guys kill 3 of them. And then you end up in negotiations. And Terry's just like, okay, guys, can you just leave? And the giants go, okay. Now, you had a magic item that was super overpowered. And it was it gave you this incredible advantage for anything persuasion related. But you sent them off. And so all of this fell apart. But it didn't matter. Because I still had the storm giants over here doing that. Mm-hmm. I still had the fact that there were refugees pouring into the city from the other side through those gates over there, which was going to be something that they're coming in and all of a sudden they're giants, so there's going to be a slaughter. Now there's no slaughter. Mm-hmm. These NPCs are still alive. They don't have any grand designs. They're escort mission at best.
Yeah.
But they're there, and you have them. Who's in there? Let's see. There was an Asimar. There was a dwarf. There was a gnome. They all had specific things that they could do. And you guys were supposed to rescue maybe one of them and then get this mechanical boon from having this NPC that was going to help you. But now you get all 3.
Yeah.
Right? And it doesn't matter. You guys saved the day. You wrecked the bad guys' plans. Here you go. And now I turn around and I go, okay, well, my overarching bad guy is a chaotic evil, mad as a hatter, batshit lich who is teleporting in and out of worlds and realms and messing with time and whatnot. How is he going to react to this major victory? Well, he's going to wait till all the giants die, resurrect the giant king, make him a lich, to a lesser degree that works for him. And so now my main bad guy has a lieutenant. This is cool. I didn't plan that. But every time that you guys have gone out of the way to wreck my plan, I go, so how do I react to what your plans are?
Everything's reacting. Yeah.
And I'm just reacting. And because I know what the mentality was, and I know what the thought process behind it all, and the motivations, and I know where the secrets in the world are.
Yeah, it's because you've done all of this prior prep work to the campaign even starting.
Yeah.
Where you just slam together all of this other stuff so that your week to week could be minimal. Yeah. So you front loaded everything so your week to week could be manageable.
Right. Whereas and that's what I mean though, when I sit down to do the maps and I'm listening to music and I'm thinking, Terry he's been using his Warhammer up, he's not casting a whole lot of spells. I don't know. Should I? I'll put guys up on the walls. Yeah, he can't get to them. He's got to do distant stuff now, right? And I'm just thinking about now. Dan's got this crazy long movement speed. I bet I could separate him if I put him in tunnels. I bet he'd run in front of everybody else. If I have someone retreat, he'll chase them, and everybody else will be too slow, and then I'll cut him off from it. Yeah, that'll work because I'm working on a map and I'm listening to your soundtrack, and I'm not worried anymore about what is my overarching bad guys plot. I know what that is. I'm also tracking it on the calendar.
Yeah,
right. So that's the other thing that I have going for me too is
and you've got like 6 or 7 key NPCs in this world that are not necessarily bad guy related, or even if they are central plot related. You've got these 6 or 7 key NPCs that you also track based off this calendar you've brought up.
Yeah.
And been like, okay, so the party gets, if they've gone 5 days this session, what's happened with these key 7 NPCs in these 5 days? So part of your weekly or maybe even monthly prep, you just make little notes and you move these pieces around the board.
And if I've got some, for example, let me see, I've got Rakshasa running around right now. Okay, Dan, this is from your character.
Yeah, it's the nemesis I gave you.
Yeah, and he's able to change shape, and we know for a fact that he's been a Goliath in the past, and I've got him in a couple of other forms, doing things and running around, and he's up to stuff. And if he needed to be at this city to kill this NPC to gain their knowledge, but you guys ran into that NPC 3 sessions ago, and you brought him with you on your ship, then the Rakshasa is still going to show up there, dig through this guy's notes, and if he can't find what he's looking for, who would be the next best NPC to find? And I'm just going to adapt that. So he's going to head to a different town. So maybe you guys aren't going to run into each other when I thought you would. It's going to delay it a little bit.
It's been so long since we played this campaign. I'm trying to who's that guy? What's going on?
So, but your overall point is the same. As you prep so much before the campaign begins that you can stay looser.
Yeah, so
week to week.
So yeah, the week to week stuff allows me to focus on things like I've got an 8-hour session coming up. I know that there are a ton of minion level bad guys. So while this will be an easy fight, it's going to eat 45 minutes of time, just because on their turn I got to move 90 guys across the map, right? So I know this is going to take some time. We should have probably 45 minutes of social and exploration as well. How are we going to balance that? What order they're going to come in? Well, we're in a dungeon, so there's not going to be a whole lot of socials. So we're going to have a big social encounter at the end. What does that look like? I'm doing this while I'm drawing maps.
Yeah.
Right? And so it allows me to do my encounter balance and my player character party politics balance. Are there enough puzzles? When was the last time we did a puzzle? Well, we've done riddles recently. Yeah, I'm going to hand out another 3D puzzle for these guys to have to physically sit there and mess with at the table, trying to quote-unquote open up a lockbox, right? But I'm going to physically hand you one of these 3D wooden puzzles that you got to pull them apart and separate all the pieces.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've done anything like that. Here you go. It's been a while since we've had a prop. Do I have time to make a prop this week? No, I'll set aside time to make a prop next week.
Yeah.
Right? And so I have the opportunity to do that now because all of my shit took a month, 6 weeks, whatever to do beforehand. You guys know the big world map that sits on the wall.
Beautiful map.
I put a lot of time into that.
You put a lot of there were 3 or
gorgeous.
4 drafts of that thing before.
Sometimes I just video little bits of it. Just post it. I love it.
I've noticed it. But my favorite thing about it is I spent a lot of time just drawing trees for the forest, just like circles and triangles over on this side. And while I'm doing that, I'm going, what's in this forest? Oh, that's cool. No, I've got that over there. What's in this forest? And so I'm sitting there trying to think about it, and then I'll stop halfway through drawing, and I'll wander over to Volos, and I'll just start flipping until I find something that, oh, that's batshit insanity. I'm putting that in, and I put it down, and I never think about it again.
Yeah.
You guys will probably never be in that forest. And when you do, I will have forgotten what I chose.
Yeah.
But while I'm doing it, I'm prepping it, and there's a small % chance that I know what's in there, but a huge chance that I will remember why I put something.
Exactly. Yeah. And you even said if there's a specific theme to an area that you want to hit well when you're doing your initial month-long prep, you'll name it something that will remind you of what that is.
Yeah.
And
well,
you're there's the Lonely Lake, and you know why you've mentioned this in a podcast before.
Yeah.
It's the Lonely Lake. You know why it's called the Lonely Lake. We don't, but if we ever make our way...
You don't know?
No.
You're the only one who doesn't know, man.
Oh, well.
Well, you guys are on a pirate ship called the Deadly Daughters. There's a reason that every ship is named a thing for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Like you guys, the first ship you took was called the Styx because the river Styx. You need the boatman to get across to get into hell, right? And you guys are going into the prison, so I named it the Styx, and here we go. Now, thematically, I understand why now.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's.
Can we? I think unless you guys have anything else you want to add there.
Just in terms of, we've done a lot of like actual campaign prep talk. What about actual session prep? Like, who's the person responsible for organizing who's coming, what time we're starting, who's bringing snacks? You guys
need to figure this shit out in session 0.
Yeah, session 0, group chat. Like, it's going to be different for everyone.
Talk
to each other like human beings.
When there's a large group of people like there is in the one that you were DMing before that Brad's taken over now.
Yeah.
There are like 7 or 8 people in that chat. Like, it's a monstrous group of people. You put it up to a Facebook poll, and if you can get 6 or more people to show up on any given night, we're good.
Yeah.
Right? But when it's a small group of 3 or 4 people, give or take a DM, you guys should be able to... Look, we're adults. All of us are in our 30s. We know what we're doing on a Thursday night.
I think people overcomplicate this stuff.
They really do.
Well. Like, it's the type of... You see, like, those messages, and we get them sometimes where it's like, hey, I have this issue... How do I deal with... Let's do the obvious one.
Is this your internet voice?
People, this is my internet voice. It's all natural. It costs $8,000. I was in Whole Foods yesterday.
This is your beauty YouTuber voice.
I was in Whole Foods yesterday, and I'm still wiping hemp off of me.
Got to pick up that asparagus water.
Tea tree oil everywhere.
But the common ones you hear, we get messages for is, hey, people are talking and I'm like trying to start my session. How do I stop people from talking and start my session?
Grab a big hammer and drop it in the middle of the table and say, listen up, bitches!
Talk to them like a human being and say these 3 words. Say these 3 words. Are you ready? Yes. Then I'll begin. And then talk. And if somebody talks, stop and go, are you ready? Yes. And if they talk for a 3rd time, go, hey, Dan, you said you're ready, but you keep talking. Is there something you want to say before we get started? Because if you tell me when you're ready, and then we'll start. You good? Okay. Now I've got that commitment from you that you're going to shut the fuck up. I'm going to start. And now I don't need to reach out to strangers going, how do I get people to stop talking? Ask them if they're done, if they're ready.
Uncle Terry scared me a little bit. I'm like, no, I'm good. Let's play.
Uncle Terry teaching people to be human beings since 1988.
But to answer your question about session prep. It's on everybody. Okay, what does a player need to prep before a freaking campaign or before a session starts? It's easy. Did you level your character if you need to? Did you identify your items if you needed to? Have you got your character sheet, your pencil, your dice, and your eraser? If you're using a mini, did you leave it at the place or did you bring it with you? Mm-hmm. That's it. Other than that, organize your own ride. We're adults. Even if you're not an adult, if you're 14...
Figure it out.
You are an adult. You're an adult by medieval standards, right? So figure it out.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous to me that everybody in this entire freaking hobby plays an 18-year-old with more responsibility than the fucking players show on a weekly goddamn basis.
So, we hit a chord with Adam. I come from a point where like the group that I have been playing with the longest out of everyone else, they've kind of got a philosophy to the group that's just become established over time where the DM's the one reaching out to the group to make sure everyone can make it that week. To kind of remind everybody, hey, we're still playing on Friday, even though we've played on Friday every single week for the past 7 years. But we're still playing Friday. Like, this is still the intention. We're still going. Is there anything people need to bring up that while they'll be late, while they'll not be there, and could someone bring snacks, right? Like, that's been the DM's responsibility. That doesn't have to be the DM's responsibility. This is coming from a position of pain, because I've been the DM for a very long time in that group.
Yeah.
And it's just always ended up being me saying, hey, this group of guys that I've been playing D&D with for 20 years, we're still playing D&D this week, right? Like, yeah, we're doing it. Everyone is kind of assumed, but if I don't send out the message...
Nobody comes.
Nobody shows up. It is like even sometimes when I'm not the DM and like my friend Russell's the DM, I'm still the one that has to send out the message, or no one else shows up.
So
I'm like, what the? Why is this my responsibility?
2 p.m. Someone's in the frozen food section at the supermarket and then just goes, "Ah, shit."
Pretty much, yeah.
But no, as far as weekly prep goes, in my opinion, you should. I myself prep 1 hour to 1 hour gameplay. It doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes you guys will blitz through an NPC encounter. Sometimes you'll blitz through combat encounter.
Every social encounter is solved with an axe to the face.
Yeah. But then we get really fun break out of jail encounters.
Yeah.
Every naval encounter is solved with a reverse gravity spell. Remember that, people.
I just like how Adam put this god in one of our in the path of our characters the last session we played, and it was supposed to be the social encounters because we were supposed to recognize that this guy was a god, and we fought him, and he wiped the floor with us and went, "Don't fuck with gods," and then left, and we're like, that went differently. He's like, "Yeah, you were supposed to talk to him, you idiots. You fools."
I saw that going better in my mind.
Yeah, but I mean, you guys will blitz through some, and you'll take 3 times as long in a puzzle, right? So, as a general rule, if I want to drag out an encounter, I will just put a statue in front of you without any script anywhere near it, and you guys will spend 45 minutes debating whether or not to smash the statue.
Yeah,
right, and that's it, right? Like,
you were there.
He wasn't there for that.
Oh my god! So
I sat there and didn't open my mouth for 90 minutes. What happens when I lower the arm of the statue? The other arm rises. Whoa! And that was it. That's all I said for like 90 minutes. Then it was amazing.
I had my Warhammer, but I had 2 Warhammers. I was like, "Megan, would you like my other Warhammer?" "Yes." "Let's both beat the shit out of this statue." Adam was like, "You've now damaged it." "No, I want to destroy it." "What happens now?" "You've now destroyed it." "Okay, does anything happen?" "No, you've destroyed the statue." "Okay, then well that didn't work. Let's go and hit the other one." Like, it's just
Adam sends me this message and goes, "You're not allowed to miss a session again because you're the party brain and you need to be there to figure this stuff out."
I'm not there for puzzles. I'm the first person at the table who goes, "Fuck, I don't know. You figure it out. I'll hit it. I'll hit it if you want me to hit it, but I'm not here for this."
But I know my players so well that for my session prep, I'll as a general rule go 1 hour to 1 hour with the prep. And most of that is on maps and thinking, I wonder what if, right? And that lets me stay flexible. But, I mean, it's about prepping how long it's going to take, and I often try to overshoot. So I have a session and a half worth of shit that's already prepped. And that means that every 4th or 5th session, I don't have anything to prep because I'm always prepping ahead. And now I know.
Yeah.
If you guys go off the rails, that's fine. This map will be used for another village later. That village will be radically different, but the map layout doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
you found a way to foil this for sure. Just put 3 levers in front of me.
Yeah.
And just don't say anything.
And of different color.
And,
Just there's a red, a blue, and a green one.
you hear a click. It's like
it doesn't even matter. I just put it in the dark. You guys won't even see the colors. You're just going to be like, the left one then.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I feel like we've come to a natural end to this point, and we will go on to topic 2. We'll do a commercial first, but I just want to say before we go to this that we were touching in some areas on agency there, and that's what I want to cover in topic 2. But first, let's do the commercial.
This episode is brought to you by WildBot3D.com. Condition markers, spell trackers, AoE templates, scatter terrain, and much more. Proudly made in Georgia and personally packaged and shipped worldwide. That's WildBot3D, your home for quality 3D printed tabletop gaming accessories and terrain. Visit WildBot3D.com to purchase your new favorite accessories today. WildBot3D.com. Wildbot.
Topic 2. Let's talk about agency. So 2 big questions. You can answer them in whatever order you want. We'll roll initiative in a second. Do you prescribe to the notion of the illusion of agency? So the idea that players aren't really in control of ultimately where they're going, what they're doing, that it's all, the Truman Show type of effect. And do you prescribe to the notion of the living world, as in the world is going on around them, not revolving around them? They are just a part of the world.
Okay.
Does that make sense? You guys are happy with that?
Yep.
Okay, let's go. Oh my goodness.
Hey,
Oh, splendid.
Dan and I both got 4s.
I've won twice.
rolling
We
off.
got to reroll. Hey, look, we tied.
Oh, why am I always going last? Yeah, I'm getting rid of this dice
Karma.
too. God damn.
Adam is
Adam
left
is
again.
leaving. Adam is leaving. Adam is leaving. Uncle Terry has another social media tip
I'm
for you
still
people.
here.
Dan can listen to this as
All
well.
right.
If you enjoy the app of Snapchat and you're a lonely heart, and if there's somebody out there, Dan, don't cough during social media tips. If there's somebody out there in the world that you would like to we'll say romantically get with, and you would like to
Adam, hurry up,
and you would like to
please.
ensure that you see them more often, use your Snap Maps to
I
find out.
don't know how to stop him.
Dan, use your Snap Maps to find out where they are and then just conveniently place yourself at that location. You'll run into them, what seems randomly. You'll spark that fire
Adam's
and build
back.
that
Can we-
relationship.
can we
Adam's
stop
back.
this now?
Okay.
I don't know what Terry was talking about, but I absolutely condone it.
I'm gonna be traumatized.
I'm bringing people
by the
together.
end
I'm
of
bringing
this
people
podcast.
together. No, man, you're gonna be a player. See what I did there?
Yeah, I saw what you did there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Nicely done.
So I get to go first. I'm the dungeon master.
Just
This
real
is the
quick,
second time I'm
what
going
is
first.
Snapchat?
Okay, Dan.
Yeah, you need to be better at
Be
this.
better at this.
God damn.
I got so much shit going on in my
2019.
life. One stupid tween fucking social media platform is the last thing I need in my life.
And to be honest, I don't use Snapchat purely because I'm narcissistic and it goes away after a while. And I'm like, I didn't
People
do this
need
shit.
me longer.
I didn't do this shit just so it goes away. I thought about this so much. But at least I know my weakness. I'm incredibly insecure and I need constant validation. Okay.
We love you, Terry.
Thank you, Dan. I need you to say it again to me tomorrow. Do I prescribe to the notion of the illusion of agency? I don't believe in taking away agency from the players. However, I think I've touched it before. I will do it a little bit initially, like very, very right at the start, just so I have that first thing planned. You're shipwrecked, you're on the beach, which way are you going? You can go any of 12 directions, but I will maybe only have 3 possible outcomes. And then based on what they do, I'll choose the most appropriate one, and then that's it. And then from there, I know that I'll be able to prep much better for the future. But when you first start, I think to get yourself off to a good start, I think it's okay if you have a limited amount of outcomes. Don't just prescribe to one because they'll sense it. Players are not stupid. Most of them, some of them are. But I think it's okay to have a limited amount of options initially, but then not after that.
Yeah, you really want to expand forth and give your players more options to utilize as the campaign is going.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of open sandbox worlds necessarily.
DMing or playing it?
Playing in. I get what is called what do we call
Analysis
it?
paralysis.
Analysis paralysis. If I've got 15 different ways to go, I will stand there and not do any of them because I don't know which one is more important to go to first.
Yeah.
Right. Like I need a little bit as a player. I need a little bit of that railroading, that little bit of a push in a proper direction for me to go. And when I DM, I kind of do it the same way because my group that I've been playing with for the longest period of time, like for the 20 years, we're all the kind of same way. We want to play these characters in this story, and the story is going to continue with or without these characters. So there's a little bit of railroad leading. Not necessarily railroading, but like leading that I'll do for the party. Like I'll drop specific clues in order to get them to go a specific way. And if they choose not to go a specific way, I will drop other clues to get them to go back to that way.
Right.
Right.
Like you're saying just initially or
Just initially.
Yeah.
After a while, they'll get it, and I find that they'll railroad themselves a little bit. Like they'll get kind of the theme I'm going towards, and they'll work towards it. Now, your groups might not be that way, so I prescribe to a little bit of an illusion of agency. I don't like giving my players, this is going to sound bad, a lot of it. For the reason I minimally prep, right? I don't do a lot of that stuff.
Well, hold on. Define agency, though. You're talking about the big world decisions, though. In initiative, you are giving them 100% agency to do whatever they want. though,
of course.
So let's talk about that for a sec, Dan, because you're saying take away agency. At that point, I'm just playing with other people's character sheets.
Oh no! The what they decide to do in the battle, what they want to do with their character sheets, what their abilities are.
You're talking
the
about
rolling of the
literally-
dice. I'm talking about like the overarching plot, the like this is what we're going to do this session plot points. In terms of like
From
me
the
taking
festival,
over their
we're doing the festival kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not Not, hey, this is an arm wrestling competition. How do you handle this? And then they're like, oh, I'm not going to do it. You allow them to opt out.
Yeah.
Right? So, but, yeah, okay. So, I'm just making sure that you're not telling people to just say, fuck what your players want.
But also fuck what your players want.
At the same time, like, and I've said this before, I base a lot of my sessions over the desires that my players will tell me they have. Like, if they want to fight a
big-breasted women.
I will put big-breasted women in all the time, right? And they will smack you about the ass and thighs with the big breasts.
God,
like
this is they're
halflings.
Gotcha. Okay.
Big-breasted halflings.
Big-breasted halflings. Don't push them over.
They'll
just be like that inflatable clown thing, like Anyways,
please move on. I'm sorry. We're trying so hard to make a good podcast.
So I will prep things specific to what they request they want, and it's certain things like I'll get a message from one of them in the week say, "Oh man, we haven't fought a bugbear in a while," or "We haven't fought a beholder in a very long time," or one of the guys will bring and be like, "Hey guys, I got this in one of the packs, and they'll bring a monster."
Because you brought this up back in episode 16, the random tables. Those specifically bugbears and beholders.
They're just the first two monsters that come to mind.
Is that what it is?
Beholder has come up. Beholder has specifically, like, one of my players showed up one day with a beholder and said, "Hey, look what I got." And it's like, okay, well, now there has to be a beholder in the world because we have the mini for it now.
Oh, absolutely
right?
not.
Or like,
absolutely not.
And like, in the next 3 weeks, you guys will probably face a beholder because I've got one here now to play, and you guys are the perfect level for it. Mahaha. Right? But I've gotten the owlbear thing a few times where it's like, we haven't fought an owlbear in a while. Why not? Or a specific kind of dragon. Like, we haven't fought a young blue for a while. Why not? Why are we being specific? But okay, sure. You'll fight a young blue. One of you will die.
Specifically the one that requested this.
This is what you get.
Like, at the beginning of the combat so they don't get to fight it.
It's also things like, and you mentioned this earlier, where it's like, one of my players in Aarakocra who hasn't had an opportunity to fly for a while. Okay, well, you will now be able to fly. Right? And I'll build an encounter so that they can fly. Right? I cater heavily to my players with what they want, and it is a form for me to kind of eliminate the randomness that giving them full agency brings. If that makes sense.
Okay.
I
think you go about it completely ass backwards compared to me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not saying that you're wrong. It works. If it works for you, it works for you. However, I very much believe in the living world. Like I said before, I prep the future. I don't prep. I think about the past. I need to know the foundation, the building blocks. I know where we're starting. I know the geography, and I've worked out the map because I've spent 6 weeks prepping the campaign, right? But I'm on a calendar. I'm on a schedule. I'm on a timeline, right? I know what the big bads are going to do. If you happen to miss it, then the big bad guy won that encounter, and he's a little bit more powerful, but so are you. You guys went off and you leveled, right? Like, here we are. The world moves on. I'm also a big believer in dropping purple worms on a level 3 party. It allows you an environmental challenge instead of a combat because you're not fighting one, right? But I very much believe in the living world. Therefore, player agency, 100%. Go nuts. Do your thing. However, I, as a dungeon master, have a couple of tools that I can use to stop them going totally off the rails. The first one, and you guys will recognize this, and I don't mean just you two, I mean everyone listening. When the DM says, "Are you sure?" That will put you right back on the path.
Yeah.
When the DM goes...
The answer to that question is always no.
Yeah, when
if it's yes, you're about to die.
I've only ever seen it said yes once. And it happened while Terry was DMing when someone sold a deck of many things. And he's like, I'm going to fan the deck and just start pulling every card. And Terry went, "Are you sure?" And he went, "Yep." And that derailed us for 2-3 sessions. We ended up in the afterlife.
I'd repressed that memory, Adam.
Yeah, well, you're welcome.
$12,000 of therapy to get rid of that, and you brought it back in 10 seconds.
Should have spent 13, friends.
Yes. Those were Canadian dollars.
Guys,
more
it was
expensive.
$1.50 in American dollars.
And you get a house.
Okay, so the other thing that I do is I will absolutely say yes, but. That yes, but will continue to go for a while until I start to say no, and then you're going to hear, I'm not sure that makes sense.
Yeah.
or justify it to me, right? And I'm pretty open to whatever it is you want to do, right? I'm gonna not sleep in the inn. I'm gonna sleep in the stables. Okay. Yes, but you're not going to get a good night's sleep. You got to sleep an extra 10 hours, right? Yeah, but it's half the price. Okay, and you do that for 4 or 5 nights in a row, and I'm like, yes, but no. And the stable boy is now watching you with the kind of narrowed eyes, going, "Why do you always smell?" And you are getting disadvantage. Yeah, you're getting disadvantage on your charisma checks, right? So because you're no longer able to persuade people as well. Maybe your intimidation goes up, but this guy's totally willing to shit himself, apparently, right? But it's just you sleeping in the stables. But then eventually, after like 2 weeks of this, where everyone else is paying full price and you're hoarding your gold, I will eventually turn to you and say, look, I don't think this makes sense. You're now having to sleep 16 hours a day. Everyone's looking at you funny. And there's a thunderstorm coming. Stop doing this.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not taking your agency away. I'm saying this is a bad idea. You can still do it, but the penalties will get more and more. It will be very gradual and minimal at first, and they will stack. Dan, you saw this with the blatant drug abuse that your character was doing early on. And I went, yeah, sure, man, go nuts. You had a wacky trip. And we had a lot of fun with that. And we did a whole bunch of role-playing, and you got a whole bunch of NPCs interacting with you the first time. And then fewer NPCs the second time. And then none the third time. And this isn't fun anymore. You just have disadvantage on everything. And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. So, I don't know. I believe in giving the agency as much as possible.
What you're saying is you'll never take it away from them, but it gets to a point where it's not in their best interest to continue.
Yeah, you're not playing the game anymore.
Yeah,
right. You're playing your game and not the game we've all agreed on. The only time when I will straight up try to take agency away from anyone is when
someone's showboating or something like that at the table. Or
no, I'll let you showboat. You go right ahead. You'll be sitting still and ignored on the next social encounter. Everyone gets a chance in the spotlight.
Yeah.
But if you want to take the opportunity to showboat now, go ahead. You just won't get it later, right?
Yeah.
Until it's your turn again. No, the only time that I'll take it away is when you are captured. When I put you in manacles and I drop you in an anti-magic field and you are behind bars. And when I take agency like that, I will cutscene that shit. Because I don't like really giving you the, hey, what do? You have no actions, no bonus actions, no reactions. You can interact with whatever you want. You can't pick these locks. You're separated from everyone else. It's dark. You're in an anti-magic field. And none of your class features matter. What would you like to do? That's kind of a bullshit scenario.
Yeah.
I'm just going to walk through this until the next time is when you get agency.
Yeah, I feel like as a player, I would probably prefer to just listen to your scene, essentially what you are essentially your cutscene you're rolling out, instead of every minute or so you asking me what I want to do. Then I just feel super limited, and then I'm kind of staring at you, the DM, going, I don't know, man. What do you want me to do?
Exactly.
What am I supposed to do?
And that's why I tend to run what are they called? QuickTime events inside of the scenes, where I say, okay, here's this very railroaded scene that I've given you. You have two options. Would you like to do this or this? Terry, I did this to you when you had a one-on-one with the big bad guy, and he looked you square in the eye and said, hey, this is your father who tormented you your entire life. Kill him. If you don't, I will, and then I'll murder your friends. So you should kill him. And but I had this whole monologue, and I did it, and Terry had to just sit there and listen. And then finally, I'm like, "What do you do?" And then I gave him agency to say one sentence, right? And I was okay. And you said, "I'm going to do it." Great, how? I'm going to stab him in between the ribs. Okay. And then I go on, and I move right along with the monologue because I know like there are two options. There we go. Terry has agency in the moment, but we're very much railroaded.
Yeah.
I don't do this often, but I do it sometimes for the big plot points.
I think you have to earn trust from the players where they're going to allow you as the DM to do that because they know there's a reason this is happening.
Yeah, this was 20 sessions in to...
So after 20 sessions, you took agency away from us temporarily where it's, okay, this is clearly we have enough trust in Adam as a DM at this point where he's leading to something. Let's just let him get to his point.
And it's obviously an act break.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So as well, like, we're moving from tier 1 to tier 2 or whatever. Then it's okay, I think. I mean, do you really need to be on the pirate ship with full agency for 4.5 months, going from one continent to the other? Or can we just hand wave that? Have one big battle against a giant squid and then move on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Yeah.
anyways, there's my answer.
What about, guys, the idea, and I think this one was just funny for me when I was at home researching this, the idea of the waiting game, and I don't mean when we individually follow people home and just stare at their furniture through their front window. I mean...
You are the creepiest person that has ever lived.
You're outside their window? Oh, shit, I'm doing it wrong.
Adam just blatantly sits in their living room.
Welcome to your living room.
Yeah. It's just like, they just awkwardly flick through the TV and he's like...
He's done it like twice to me.
He's like, you guys want to watch Westworld? You guys want to watch Westworld?
He's just got it all queued
Sunday
and
night.
loaded. He's all like, all right, sit down, play, go.
That's it. That's how he stalks people. You guys like it? Ah, fuck you guys. It just leaves. Okay,
I just get up, put my pants back on, and leave.
But I mean, any video game you've ever played, it can be 2 a.m. and you walk in and the shopkeep is standing behind the counter ready to serve you. It's 2 a.m. The shops are never locked up. Or you go into the tomb. But there's no bodies around. All of the traps have not been set off. There's no indication of bolts or gas being let off anywhere. It's just as though the world was waiting for only you to arrive. What is your opinion on this? How do you work around it?
Me first?
Sure, if we're going to go in the same...
Honestly,
order.
I don't mind this so much. Mm-hmm. Like, if I think there's going to be a funny story with the innkeeper, and he wants the party to go do something, but the party's been gallivanting off 3 cities away for the past 6 months. When you come back, the guy's going to still have heard about your exploits, because bards are a thing, and he will say, oh yeah, I heard you guys were doing this. Listen, this happened. Can you go help? Like, 6 months ago when I wanted them to talk to the innkeeper and do this mission, like go save his daughter from the keep or something, they were all level 3. I had the encounters built as if they were level 3. Now they're coming back and they're level 8. I'm still going to give them the exact same mission, but I'm just going to build the encounters as if they're level 8.
But
I don't do a lot of the living world stuff like Adam does, where Adam will be like, okay, this encounter's happening. Say this innkeeper with the daughter. The party's off for 6 months, comes back. No, now you have an innkeeper whose daughter's dead.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
But is the innkeeper always there? Because even when the party shows up at 4 a.m., is the tavern ever locked?
There's always, specifically in this instance, yes, there's always someone there to receive guests, unless they have no vacancy. But
the magic shop is closed.
Right? The magic shop is closed at night.
Yeah,
right? That's bonkers if it's 2:00 in the morning and you're walking into the magic shop and you still have like that bright-eyed gnome merchant going, welcome to see all my wares.
What about the tombs? Have the traps ever been set off? Is there ever any bodies there? Is there ever somebody who almost made it out and has the MacGuffin just as you walk in? Oh, that guy almost made it. Oh, well, that was easy. We'll just take that.
But now there will be, because that sounds fantastic.
But I would get them to do a perception check, and if they miss it, have them walk past it.
What I'll do,
come back out.
What I will do is I will set a trap near the very beginning of a dungeon or something like that has been triggered and has a corpse in it with some sort of treasure or something on him, as a way of saying, hey guys, there's going to be traps here. And then that doesn't happen again. Right? Like, if they do find a trap, it has been reset and there are skeletons in it, if it's like a pit or something like that. Or maybe if it's like an arrow trap, or like certain traps I'll have, so maybe they're a little disfigured, but they still might work. But for the most part, I want this to be an exploration for the party, so the party's going to do the exploration, not necessarily finding someone else has done it and made it a bunch easier for them, unless there are story reasons to do that, right? So no, I like the waiting world. I like throwing these set pieces that I've built at them, but that's my perspective on it.
Adam?
Yeah, I'm of a different mindset on this. If you're playing in the Forgotten Realms, it's called that because there's a deep, rich history 5 editions plus of history in this area, right?
And hundreds of novels.
And frankly, there are ruins on top of ruins on top of ruins. You should always have the basement that leads to the sewer, that leads to the catacombs, that lead to the graveyard, that leads to the mausoleum, that leads to the vampire lair. It always needs to spiral into the next thing because it's the Forgotten Realms. You're building on top of buildings that have crumbled, right? So, yeah, people have been here. Absolutely. I think the real question that you need to ask yourself is it a secret? Who knows about it? And why do they know about it? Who built it? Why did they build it this way? I don't understand the temple where you have to go. Well, there's an altar where there's a sacrifice that has to be put there, and this is where they used to have giant sacrifices with hundreds of cultists and whatnot. But the front door is trapped. How many cultists accidentally fell in that pit before they're like, you know what? We shouldn't have put a pit here.
Right? You're so right. Why is there pits there?
So it makes sense to me that there would be this, but now it's been long forgotten for 1,000 years.
I just imagine just right before the sacrifice they're doing, and we will all take a minute just to remember Dave, who last week unfortunately fell into the pit that Rob forgot to fill in.
They're all entering the place chanting, and you just hear the one guy go, "Ah!"
We didn't put the cover over the pit again.
His name was Robert Paulson. Anyway,
now you lot are gonna die.
Yeah. So the thing about is the why is there a pit here? Because someone else has moved in since, kobolds, goblins. Someone moved in and created a very crude pit trap of some sort, and you should have differing layers of like, I'm totally okay with putting a dragon in the bottom of a dungeon. It makes zero fucking sense at face value. But if the dungeon was made by a mad wizard, then yes, absolutely, they put the dragon in there with a spring of water that shows up every day, and there's a cow that just bamfs in every day at dawn.
Jurassic Park stuff.
Yeah, right. So that the dragon is, and now the dragon is pissed. It's been down here for 100 years. It's mad as all hell. It can't get out because of warding. When you show up, it is going to bargain with you to get out. But this is an evil red dragon, right? Like this is what should be down there. If you're going to put a dragon in, like, otherwise it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So who made it and why? Again, like, I'm going to keep coming back to this idea of why. Mm-hmm. I don't care how. How is in the details that I'll make up later. Why? And as for, is the shop open late at night? Yeah, but it's a nocturnal creature that's in there. Like, it's the night shift. Mm-hmm. And maybe only sometimes. Like, maybe the magic shop isn't open during the day.
It's actually only open at night.
Yeah, and it's run by witches.
Yeah.
Right? So, or maybe you've got a wolf man, like a half wolf creature, like there's a gnoll, right? It's kind of wolfy looking, and he's a night crew. There's a really haggard looking guy, and he's a day crew. And it's the same guy, but he's been bitten by a werewolf. Right? And just like, nobody knows. He's just got a little bit of intelligence to the wolf aspect. Right? So he just never sleeps and is fucking haggard. And by the 15th time you come in here, he's just dead, face down. He died of exhaustion. Right? Like,
I love it.
Because, I mean, why not have a night crew? I mean, if you go to Walmart 24 hours, right, a day.
Maybe depending on your town size that you build as well. Like
in Waterdeep, there are night markets.
Yes.
In Baldur's Gate, maybe not.
Baldur's Gate, maybe, like, in the lower ends, but, like, in Bloodhump Nowhere in Anne, no, there's no there's no night market there, no.
So, anyways.
Well, I feel like we came to a natural end there. Adam, I know you have a really big shout-out that you want to do this week. This could be a perfect time for that.
Yeah, I want to do a shout-out to Ink D&D Podcast. That's their Instagram. It's at INCDND Podcast. There's no dots or dashes or any of that nonsense in there. They have got an absolutely amazing podcast. The INC, it does not stand for Incorporated, which I thought it did for a while.
Yeah.
It actually stands for It's Never Cloudy in D&D, which I believe is a takeoff of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yep.
So
fantastic.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. They've got over 40 episodes. They just came to kind of like a natural end of an arc.
Yep.
So it's a really good time to jump in and listen to them. Their page is great. It's half, or I guess a third about the podcast and 2/3 memes, and it's just a lot of fun. I'm always
It's a good
excited to
format.
see-
I like that format.
I like that. That's what I need.
I'm straight up front. I don't listen to actual play D&D podcasts. I think that as a general rule, why am I listening to someone else have fun? I want to have fun myself.
You're weird that way.
But I do listen to them have fun.
Yeah.
And it is fun to listen to. I really like the story that they're on, but I'm not going to give any spoilers. So go check it out. There's only 40 episodes. So if you can check out their show notes are really good about describing, we've come to the end of this, or we're heading into this, or whatever it is. So you know where to pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you like what you hear, go back to the beginning. Even from episode 1, it's fantastic. So
Awesome.
Anyways, I thought I'd give them a shout out. They're great.
What's the handle one more time?
It's at INCDNDPODCAST. Inc. D&D Podcast.
Cool.
All right. Okay. Let's move on, guys. I want to do this next bit. Not necessarily quick fire, but maybe just some quick rounds about modules and campaign settings and what our opinions are of some existing ones out there. So I don't know if you guys want to roll initiative first and then go in the same order, or continue to keep rolling initiative, but we'll probably do it about 5 times if we continue to. So
I like rolling dice.
You okay with rolling dice?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first question then before we roll initiative. Which 5th edition module excites us the most and why? Let's go. Am I going to win again? Holy... No, I
nope,
didn't.
you lost
Second. I haven't lost yet.
I am dying to do the entire Waterdeep. Adam's walking away, getting another dice. You should just grab the basket because we're about to roll the dice a bunch more.
No, I'm doing this until I get the right one.
Okay. I want to do the entire Waterdeep series, the
Dragon Heist,
Dragon Heist,
Dungeon of the Mad Mage.
and Dungeon of the Mad Mage. I've always wanted to play a purely urban campaign, and it's the first one that goes to level 20 that they've produced as well.
Okay, player DM.
I want to play in it.
Yeah, because you say you don't want to DM these sandbox campaigns, whatever. If you're going urban, you have to have it sandbox.
Oh, you do, yeah,
Right?
Yeah,
It can't
when
be...
I'm more excited, I don't like necessarily running the box, like the modules all that well. I'll take them and I'll mess with them and I'll make them my own thing. And by session 4, we are wildly variant off of it. But in terms of playing it, I really want to play in this. I've had lots of fun playing in Curse of Strahd. I had lots of fun playing Tombs of Annihilation. I've read through Princes of the Apocalypse and want to run that because I'm a huge fan of the Elemental Evil series of modules all the way back from AD&D forward.
Such a good name for a band as well, don't you think?
Prince of the Apocalypse?
Prince of the
That's
Apocalypse.
got to be a metal band.
They're a metal
the
band.
best
Yeah,
name
they're
for a
thrash
metal
metal.
band ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of spikes in the title, yeah. Anyways, so for me, it's Dungeon of the Mad Mage and Dragon Heist together is the Waterdeep focus. I know that the All Natural 20s are working through this right now, and I've actually started tuning in and watching them.
Spoilers?
I'm not going to say what they do, but they're fantastic. I've gotten a couple I've got a couple messages from the girls, and they're like, "So this is what's happening with my character, and what do you think of this?" I'm like, "That's amazing, but why are you telling me this? Because I want to experience it watching the stream, and it's been fantastic." So
They get excited.
they do.
Bless them.
You were up next.
You next,
Who's
T.
me?
Rizzle.
What do you guys think it is? The 5th edition module that I want to play that I haven't
You're
been able
Tyranny
to
of
play.
Dragons, hands down.
Yeah.
Yo, yes. Easy answer. Tyranny of Dragons. I didn't get to play it yet. It reflects my interests. It's a long leveling campaign, and I like to get sucked into story arcs, and I haven't been able to do that one yet. But then, Adam, you just got me thinking, do I want to play in that, or do I want to DM that? And I think I've decided that I want to DM that, because when you DM, you can play whoever you want to be.
Now I know I have 3 groups going, but if you ever put that together, call me because I'm on board to play in that because I haven't played in it either.
2019. I haven't made a phone call in 6 years. But yeah,
Send me a text
I
message.
will text
then.
you.
You twit.
running TOD
Called
lol.
tweeting, Dan.
Oh, is that what that is? Social media bullshit.
Adam.
I don't know if it's just me. I have this real issue with I've got like megalophobia. I don't like big shit. I like stuff that is too big actually terrifies me. I went to Washington D.C. a couple of summers ago for the first time, and I saw the Capitol Hill building.
Yeah.
And it is so big, and I felt so small that it was I almost got vertigo out of it. Like, it terrified the shit out of me to be next to such a large building.
I used to get that when I was a kid. Like, you know, like big, like, industrial works and stuff, or
Yeah.
like trains.
Yeah.
I used to freak out.
I don't have that problem. I'm not a coward.
Okay. Totally set myself up with that. I'm like, I literally just told you I was a coward. So, okay.
Okay, so, Dan, we're going to come back to that.
I get the opportunity so rarely.
But I want to play Storm King's Thunder for exactly the reason of you were the smallest thing in that campaign.
Yeah.
I love the idea of the ordning being out of whack as well, and so I want to play in it. I don't want to run it. I want to play Storm King's Thunder, and I want to be dwarfed by absolutely everything. And I would play a small creature in it too, just so that when the Frost Giant steps out, even if I'm level 15 and it is just a Frost Giant, I am, like, this thing is massive.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely phenomenal. I love the idea of things being super big. One of the things that freaks me out is, more than anything else, is how deep the ocean actually is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I'm there too. Yeah.
Right? I don't like being over open water. Even flying, I don't like being over open water. Like, it freaks me out, because if you go into that water, not only do you not know where the depths is, you don't know what's below you at any given point, and the deeper you go, the more everything else can move through that area better than you can.
Yeah.
You've just enhanced a bunch of people's water phobia.
Yeah, it's called thassillophobia, and it's another thing. Like, I'm all over this shit. I love horror, and I love fear, and I love all that. These are mine. I don't like big shit, and I don't like open ocean. So I would want to play in that to a lesser degree. I think the next thing that I'd be interested in DMing would be, I'd string 6 of the 7 modules of Tales from the Yawning Portal together.
Yeah.
They're each just a fun dungeon, each in of themselves.
Yeah.
And they naturally go together one after another. So,
All right. Okay. Next question. Which 5th edition? Can't speak. Which 5th edition module least excited? That didn't even say that
13.
sentence correctly. Then
You
I
lost
can't
again.
speak anymore.
yeah, I rolled a 10.
What did I
At
get?
least it's
18?
double digits. That's the
I've
first
won
double
3
digits.
times.
Yeah. I'm going to keep this dice. You're not dead yet to me. You
Roll
gave me
double
a
digits
10.
for the first
Adam
time.
has. He can't hurt us anymore. He can't hurt us anymore.
Why do you say this? Because you know Sunday's going to come along and we're going to play a game,
Which
and he's just going to
fifth-
destroy us.
Yes. Which 5th edition module least excites me? Right now, it's actually Storm King's Thunder.
Really?
And the reason being is we've come across giants and giant type things a lot in your campaign. And so it's nothing that I have against Storm King's Thunder. It's just that I've scratched that itch for a little while.
That's fair.
So it's, I think eventually I'll come back around to it. I'm not hating on Storm King's Thunder at all, but I would be in some ways repeating myself at this point.
Yeah.
And I want to explore something else first. But that's just a personal one for me.
For me, it's Out of the Abyss.
Pourquoi?
I don't like. I know we just got through an Underdark episode, and
Yeah.
we talked about the Underdark, and I like the Underdark as a thing to dip into, and we even cover like running a campaign in the Underdark. I have no interest in playing in a campaign in the Underdark. I want
The truth comes out.
I want to see the sun. I want to experience the sunlight. You told me that like Out of the Abyss was from the title. It's supposed to be all about demons, and there's very little demons in it. I'm like, well, that was like the main draw for me to go to it. Was that that's about demons, and no, it's not about demons. It's about demon princes. I'd want to play it just to experience the demon princes themselves.
There are demons in it. Like, you almost want to pick up the last third of the module.
Yeah, right. But as a whole, like I've played Curse of Strahd, I've played Tomb of Annihilation, and I've read through Princes of the Apocalypse with the intention of running it. Out of the Abyss does not interest me at all. There's even some like Pathfinder analogs to Out of the Abyss that came up, and back when my party was playing Pathfinder, and even then I was like, no, I'm good.
Adam?
I don't give a fuck about your cultists, Terry. I really don't. I would love to
My
play.
cultists?
Yeah, I would love to play Horde of the Dragon Queen and Rise of Tiamat. If you are
I
DMing
see where
it,
you're going with this now. I was like, what? I have offended Adam with
no,
his cultists.
I just don't give a fuck about cultists. Every module I've ever played, every D&D where I've been the player, has been cultists.
And you're sick to death at CrossFit.
I'm just yeah. If I want cultists, no, I almost took.
There's enough vegans and CrossFit athletes out there as well.
I almost went after Scientologists, but they might listen. I can't afford to get sued. But no, I'm tired of it. If I want to play low level bad guys, give me gnolls. Why do we not have a gnoll campaign? Why do we not have an orc campaign? Why is it all humans in fucking robes?
Red robes at that.
Well, yeah, it's red or black with red emblems on them.
Maybe
like,
purple.
Maybe a little bit of purple, yeah.
No, you want to know the cultists? The only cultists that I will actually open my arms to and accept are going to be the cultists of the Kraken. Because these guys are weird. This is like Cthulhu
I like
level
that.
shit.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. They're weird. What does a Kraken want? Because Krakens are a real thing, and they've got their own cults and their sacrifice. I'm into that. I want to see more of that.
I want to play a character which is a cultist of a Kraken now.
Yeah, that would be a really cool. Let me see, Triton, Sea Elf, Water Genasi.
Yeah,
right. Like
messed up. Like
now you'd be a greasy dwarf.
Cleric
That's what I would want to do. Just like a wet dwarf cleric.
I feel like you'd play a grung
or a grung.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I don't give a shit about this. I want to fight dragons. I haven't looked into the Rise of Tiamat or the Tyranny of Dragons.
Spoiler: it's cultists.
Yeah, it's cultists, right? It's not even dragons. There's probably one or two in there somewhere.
No,
it is based a lot around dragons, but it's the main things you're interacting with is cultists.
Yeah, and that doesn't interest me. I'd run it, Terry. I love your style of DMing.
Thank you.
So I would be 100% in for whatever you're running.
I don't follow the modules properly anyway. So.
If Curse of Strahd taught me anything.
I'll be like, the orcs are trying to race the dragons. Is this not cultists? No.
Well, why the frick not, right?
Right. Yeah.
Why not make them lizard folk or kobolds or...
Yeah,
and actually,
kobolds.
Specifically orcs blend very well into this because we've talked, they're a very superstitious race. Like, why not just make all of their human cultists?
And, yeah, why is every cultist a human? This is bullshit to me. I'm mad. Now I'm fucking mad. Next question. God damn it.
Wow. Holy shit. Which of the 5th edition modules do you think is easiest to bake into a homebrew campaign? Go. Dan, you go. I'll go.
4.
Another fucking 1!
8, 2! I won 4 out of 5 times. Adam, come back. I'm winning. Adam, don't leave.
I'll be right back, guys.
Don't leave. Oh, God. Okay.
But before I was
It's time for another social media tip from Uncle Terry.
No. Hell to the
No,
no.
this one's okay.
Hell to the no.
This one's about your profession.
Okay.
Okay, if anyone wants a BDSM social
Oh,
media
God. I was like, what is he going to do with wood? There's going to be something about wood here.
Okay, Adam's
You
back.
doing okay, Adam?
We missed it.
Take a breather.
Okay.
You know, that vein in my forehead is still throbbing.
Do you know what I hate in the world?
Damn.
Which is
Rolling
where
3 natural ones.
Okay.
And fuck you.
where shit just becomes predictable. Like before you roll the dice, you know you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Or you know that you have to get to something quickly, so some dick got himself pulled over on Highway 1.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Like I hate that predictable shit, and that's what
Shout
you're
out to
going
regional
right
highways.
It's like,
the only highway.
shout, listen, Royal Canadian Mounted Police, fix your shit and stop being so good at your job at pulling everyone over because they're speeding.
How dare you protect us?
Because I
and do
gotta
a good
get
job
somewhere,
doing it.
okay? Fuck your serve and protect. Get out the way. Carry on.
Are we good? Speaking of cults.
Woof.
Okay. Did we answer that question?
No, not at all. Adam got really mad.
Oh, I was
got
going
derailed.
first. I was going first. Which?
And you got mad about police.
Fuck the police. Somebody should write a song about that. Okay.
Have you seen Us? Sorry, sidebar. Have you seen Us?
Have I seen Us? I don't think so.
No, that's the Jordan Peele one.
Yeah.
No.
Speaking of fuck the police, watch that movie. I'm not going to say anything else, but
Okay.
it is the best thing that's ever happened
Jordan
on film.
Peele's great. Jordan Peele's
Yeah,
great.
he's fantastic. Anyways, what's...
Which is the a module that I think can be easily dropped into a campaign? Probably Curse of Strahd takes place in a demi-plane. You can just drop it in anywhere and be like, hey, we got 5 or 6 sessions that we want to do a side quest. So here you go. Doesn't really matter whether you win or lose in this one, and we can probably fudge it so you just leave at any time if you want to.
Yep.
Super easy. Curse of Strahd.
Yep. For me, it'd be the Lost Mines of Phandelver. I don't know how many campaigns that were complete homebrews that start off with the Lost Mines of Phandelver.
And then just evolve.
And then just evolve from there.
It's built to be that way.
It's 100% built to be that way. It's built to be dropped into
Got a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got some urban stuff, got some dungeons, got some caves, got some goblins.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like even the Adventure Zone podcast, which is a massively popular actual play podcast, their first arc that they did started with the Lost Mines of Phandelver and then went wildly off rails. Like it is.
I love that.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Man, good. Adam?
Tales from the Yawning Portal. Because
Same reason.
Every 2 or 3 levels, there's a brand new dungeon for you to go in.
Yeah.
That'll take you 2 or 3 levels.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It literally works you up to, I think it's level 14. This just runs itself.
Yeah.
And then if you're able to play up through level 14, you should be able to just kind of make your own shit after that.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot of really cool stuff now. They got White Plume Mountain, which is fantastic. It's an old classic.
Yeah. All of the ones in there are classics that they've remastered.
No, there's a couple. There's a couple
brand new ones.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's a really good mix. And like the early stuff, it still suits the people that are new to the game that just want to get their combat out of the way.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of social shit going on in there, so it's a lot of exploration and combat, which is fun, and a lot of it's exploration, which is why I like it as well. So
Cool.
Nice. Last question, you guys. What kind of adventure do you think is missing from the published modules? You ready? Go! Oh
15,
my
17,
god, I'm going to win
15,
again.
17.
Oh!
A 2. A 2.
I quit the podcast.
Adam lost his power. Adam lost. Get out of here. Go. Leave.
You're no longer welcome.
The Dan and Terry show. The Tan show. The Dairy show.
We are both so way too pale to call ourselves the
What?
Tan.
No, man. Mine's coming on a
I
little
am
bit.
translucent.
Oh,
the sun
dude,
radiates off of me.
Actually, something completely unrelated to the podcast for who I am in my real life. I had to record something where I was doing something on stage before, and I looked basically translucent. I looked like the fucking Night King.
Yeah,
Like,
whenever there's any sort of video of me,
I guess he's
it's
blue.
like
Look like the guy.
it's like radiating off my bald head or my pale white arms.
Yeah.
It's just radiate. And of course I get nervous, so I sweat, so it's just glistening radiance.
man,
It's
it's
gross.
so hard to be a white man in this world. I'm joking, internet.
Joking
Jesus
internet.
Christ.
Dear God. So what kind of adventure is missing?
Are we just going?
Yeah, we're just going.
Adam's
Fuck Adam.
done.
Yeah, we're good.
Do you know what? I think I touched on this before, but I think large-scale warfare. And it's a huge overarching campaign where there's a large-scale warfare going on, and you can basically interact with that however you want. Whether you can be a soldier or join one of the armies and just try and survive the battles, or you can go more like political intrigue, and basically navigate your way through this war. But it's happening regardless.
Yeah.
Maybe you can steer the tides a little bit of which way it goes, but I feel like there's room for that. I think it can be done, and I think that could be broken up into smaller, basically a few different modules that can be tied together.
Yeah, it would have a very Game of Thrones feel almost.
And and that's the type of thing I like. Yeah, I didn't get that idea from Game of Thrones. I got it from I was thinking about Braveheart.
Okay.
But I guess
Cool.
that makes perfect sense.
Well, like just the fantasy world, right? But having
Yeah.
like massive army pieces to move around, like,
Yeah.
it appeals to the tabletop wargamer in me as well.
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah, I'd be on board with this. He's sitting on the couch
you
and
look
pouting.
like-
He's
actually-
sitting on the couch and
Oh
pouting.
my God.
He's looking over.
that's where our guests are going to sit. That's where our guests are going to sit when we have guests.
Which we've actually been talking about. Internet spoilers.
We should. Okay, who's going
Just
next?
no,
Probably
it's me
Dan.
because
Dan, of
Adam
course.
rolled
That's
a
why Adam's not here.
2.
Okay,
right? He rolled-
Dan?
That's why he's pouting on the couch. For me, I would love to see an Astral Plane, like an Astral Sea, base campaign. I have said multiple times on this podcast that I love Mind Flayers and I love the GIF. I love GIF Yankee. I love GIF Zerai. I love the story and
pronounced
the
GIF.
culture. No, good lord, it is not. It is GIF and it is GIF. No, Terry. Terrence, we will fight about this.
Did you know my name is not actually Terrence?
I know, yeah.
I was born with a nickname. You
were born Terry?
Here's a nickname. I'm Terry.
I honestly thought it was short for something that wasn't Terrence. I did not know that was your legit given
No,
name.
Terry.
Your parents hated you.
Terry in Quebec.
Telly. I would really love to see an Astral Plane campaign from level 1 to 20 that had your party really interact with these more outworldly forces that populate the astral sea that so rarely are infested inside of the material plane when you're not in the Underdark.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, I would love to see an astral sea campaign. Adam, would you like to join us and give us your opinion?
We'll tell the world. Adam sat so far away from us. He's now reading a book. Adam doesn't get an answer. That's okay. Okay, well, we're going to go through
He's just sitting over there reading Xanathars.
We're going to...
He's all like, I need something to do, so I'm just going to read Xanathars.
Well, we're going to go through the published modules now and tell the world roughly what they're all about. If you want to get
involved, we kind of need you for this part. You're
Adam.
the brain.
God damn. All right, we're rolling again?
Yeah.
All right, if I go last.
Adam wants nothing to do with this podcast anymore. Okay, roll.
What? I got the highest roll, but it fucking tied. It goddamn tied. Who am I rolling off with? Terry?
Me.
Yeah, I got a 2. 4.
Oh, we tied
How
again.
did you double tie? Nicely done, boys.
And another 7.
At least you're not
You're
going last.
going second.
At least you're not
Did I
going
win
last.
again?
You won again.
Fuck me.
Every single roll this...
How many times have I won?
short one.
You got one.
I've
Short
won... I've only lost one.
You've only lost one.
My goodness.
We're balancing the scales today.
My time has
That's what's
come.
happening, yeah.
Okay. Well, basically, I'll bring up a module. We won't go through all of the weird ones. We'll go through the main ones. And if you feel like you've got a little bit more knowledge on it, you can certainly pipe up. Okay, well, let's talk about the ones we just talked about. So, Lost Mines of Phandelver.
You're going down and you were trying to find some hidden dwarves or lost dwarves. That,
it's the starter pack.
It's the starter pack one, right? So if you go and buy the starter pack, which will come with dice and pre-built characters, and very loose, somewhat similar rule set, like a very simplified rule set to an already simplified system.
It doesn't even have a full set of dice. It only has 6 dice.
Yeah.
But
It's missing its double D10.
But you get a little bit of everything. So even if you're a new DM, you get to work through some caves, work through some dungeons. You get to do some exploration through the woods. You get to meet the mobs, the goblins, and the orcs, and you get to build your skills in all of the different areas of DMing. And the players also get to touch in all the different areas of playing.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of everything for everybody.
Right, as opposed to some of the other modules that are very focused in specific areas because that's what the players want.
And it's lightning fast. You go 1 to 4.
1 to 4, boom,
and you're done.
You're in and you're out.
Yeah.
Wham bam. Thank you, Dan. See what I did there?
Yeah, I did. Adam.
All right, what do we got next?
Tyranny of Dragons.
Do Tyranny of Dragons.
It's goddamn dragon cultists. I've already ranted about this bullshit. Okay, all right. So,
This is not the week for Adam.
I just want to go home.
Adam's like, do you know what I love? Is Adam, fair play to Adam for the amount of work he does on this podcast, comes up with everything that we should talk about. We should do.
He does all the work.
All of
and
this
then
content.
This one, he's
this
just
is what we're
sitting there
going to
watching
go
us
through.
suffer.
He's very patient with me. He's literally like, Terry, I just need you to fucking read this book and show up on time. I'm like, I can give you one of those things. I will be late, but I will make sure I know what I'm talking about when I get there. And now we're going through the content that you wanted to do, and you're like, fuck Tyranny of Dragons and fuck your cultists. I'm getting out of here.
All right, so the very first thing, it's Horde of the Dragon Queen, and it's the wrong horde. I always think it's the other horde, but it isn't.
It's not a pile of gold. It is
No. I always think it is. Like it's the same thing as like Dragon Heist is not you stealing from a dragon. Every one of
almost like they did that intentionally.
they do that all the time though. Out of the Abyss has very little to do with actual fiends.
Yeah. You're not in the abyss. You're out of the abyss.
Yeah, Rise of Tiamat. She only shows up at the end. You'd think she'd rise at the beginning, and you got to hunt her down.
You know what? Even Curse of Strahd is misleading because the curse is on him, it's not what he's inflicting on the world.
Yeah.
Really. You know,
The Tomb of Annihilation is at the very end. It should be called
it's 10% of the campaign.
Yeah, it should be called Schultz with a dangerous
Umlaut.
Yeah.
So anyway. So yeah, the first one is about the horde. It's cultists, and the second one is literally raising Tiamat. There's a couple of dragon appearances, but that's it.
Fuck. Spoiler: you're going to fight Tiamat, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Fucking fly through this. Princes of the Apocalypse. Dan.
It is the Elder Elemental Eye has inspired 4 twisted generals to do their thing to bring the Elder Elemental Eye into the Forgotten Realms.
Okay.
It's the Temple of Elemental Evil, just taking place in the Forgotten Realms.
Levels 1 to 15.
1 to 15. It's a long one. You are fighting against the elements specifically, like earth, fire, wind, and water. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
And,
cool.
Yeah.
I got a fire.
Yeah, but like the elemental planes feature heavily in it. You're going to be fighting a lot. The Aarakocra feature heavily in a very certain section. The air one.
Oh.
Yeah, right?
They're not waterfowl.
No, but there's a lot of politics in between, like how air and earth really don't get along, and how fire and water really don't get along and are actively fighting against each other. Like, there's a lot of intercult politics and
More goddamn cults!
so many cultists.
Yep.
So many cultists. So yeah, it's
Prince of the Apocalypse. Next, Out of the Abyss. Go.
No, it's you, Terry.
That's
Oh,
you.
it is me?
Yeah.
Out of the Abyss. It mostly takes place in the Underdark, has very little to do with the Abyss, but involves demons heavily. So if you are interested in fighting demons, this is a long leveling campaign from levels 1 to 14, where you essentially travel through the Underdark, come out of it, spoiler alert, you go back into it. I haven't played it, but this is my understanding of it. Does anyone have anything they would like to add to this? We're really selling it to them.
Yeah, you spend a lot of time in a couple of major cities, and there's a lot of travel in between. I believe there's one part where you're imprisoned and you're escaping as well, and so there's survival checks in the Underdark. Apparently, it can be pretty deadly without meaning to be in some areas. And when you go off the rails, it's not like, oh, you walked into the forest and you came back out of the forest. No, you took a path and you may never find your way back.
Yeah.
I believe this one is the one that really requires a railroad to it to keep your party on track.
There's a little bit of that inside of Tomb of Annihilation, which we'll get to, where you could just get lost wandering the jungles of Chult forever. Right?
Yeah.
Curse of Strahd, another good name for a metal band.
Yeah, that'd be me. First and foremost, I love Death House. Death House is a lot of fun, and if you really take your time and get into the description...
Gets overlooked, I think.
It does.
People just skip past it.
I highly recommend to anyone running Death House, use a horror movie soundtrack of some sort, like have that creepy ambient noise coming from the back. You could definitely find one that...
The doors.
The doors are creaking. The house is always settling and shifting and making noise.
Giggling.
And there's always either a giggle or a baby crying off in the corner. A crow caws occasionally. Find one of those, play it during the session. Your party will hate it or love it.
Yeah.
Probably both.
Yeah, and also I'd run it in the dark. I'd dim it and light candles. Right? So I like Death House because I like everything horror. I also really do like Curse of Strahd because it's as sandboxed as it is. You really don't... There's no real guide for running Curse of Strahd.
No.
Even inside the book, right? It just tells you, remember to make sure to dangle Strahd in front of your people every once in a while.
Yeah, it's very loose on it, though.
And have a dinner. There should be a dinner.
Right? At some point, Strahd will invite the party to dinner. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
So,
they leave?
I would say the Curse of Strahd, a lot of people pick it up early in their D&D career. This one to me is an intermediate. It's not that it's hard. It's intensive for a DM.
Yeah.
Terry ran it for the first time he ever DM'd and did a fantastic job, but it was pretty taxing on you.
It was taxing on me. Yeah. Curse of Strahd I found particularly difficult because it will mention an NPC, say, then not mention it again for a whole load of the book. And then just be like, this person will do this. But players being players have probably fucking killed that person that you just thought was expendable because it didn't get mentioned. Or, very deep into the book, it'll be like, here's this NPC that should have done this earlier. What do you mean, should? But now we're 75% of the way through the book.
Yeah.
Like, I would definitely recommend reading it, read it again, read it for a third time.
Of all of the modules, it's the least linear.
Yeah.
Tomb of Annihilation is not that linear either.
Yeah, but it actually has a boss battle at the end, does it not?
Yeah, no, it does. It definitely does. When you take on a Serac and the
That's the thing. Considering Strahd is supposed to show up multiple times, there's very little guidance for the DM on how to just not have him be killed immediately. Considering there's a lot of ways within that campaign that you can. Spoiler, in 3, 2, 1, go. Consider there's a fucking diva just hanging around. Like, really high powered.
Yeah.
Who...
And Argynvost should be able to fuck up Strahd pretty
quick. Yeah.
I mean, technically he's not supposed to be there. I think he's supposed to be dead. I just brought him back in, but anyway.
No, in stock Curse of Strahd, you could bring Argynvost as a Draco Lich.
Yep.
Back.
So...
And
yeah,
have him fight for you. And do things. Yeah.
He did.
Anyway, what do we have next?
Tales from the Yawning Port... No, sorry. Storm King's Thunder.
I know nothing about Storm King's Thunder.
Storm King's Thunder.
It's giants?
Storm King's Thunder, yeah.
So the basic idea is that the ordning has broken.
What is the ordning? You said this 3 times.
All right. So the ordning is a giant thing. There's a lot of cool giant lore. The ordning is very what was it? It's mod. It's not Mog. It's mod. Mog is bad. Mod is good. This is like these are the giant words for good and bad, right? The ordning is the order in which. Okay, so there's the storm giants. They are more powerful than I believe it is cloud giants are next. Right, and so they're at the top of the giant hierarchy. Mm-hmm. The lowest storm giant is still more powerful and more respected by every giant below in any one of the lower castes. It's essentially the caste system.
Okay,
hill giants are the lowest. No matter how good you are as a hill giant, you will never be as good as the lowest frost giant or the lowest stone giant.
Yeah,
you just never will be because you are a hill giant. And below the hill giants are ogres and other giant kin as you go down. So there's the ordning itself has broken and anybody can make a grab for it. You guys know that mini that we have, that fat hill giant chief Gah. Her whole story is now that the ordning is broken, she believes that the bigger the giant, the more power they have. So she just eats everything and gets that fat and names herself chief of giant kind. Right, and that's straight in out of Storm King's Thunder.
Cool.
Yeah, so there's a lot of neat stuff going on.
That is a monstrous mini.
Yeah,
like it's just huge.
It's bigger than a softball, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of fun. But anyway, that's what Storm King's Thunder is. So
cool,
sweet. Tales from the Yawning Portal. Levels 1 to 14. I guess from my understanding, it's a load of dungeons. It's a load of you do 1 or 2 levels, maybe up to 5 levels for each one, and there's a lot of classics in there, but also some new ones. But it's a lot of dungeon crawls.
Yeah, and each one kind of ends off at the same level where the next one picks up.
Yeah.
What's really interesting about it is that it's kind of built to have a framework to it, where you guys sit down with characters that you've drawn up that are not the characters you play. You sit down with characters and you then talk to the bartender. Or you meet someone else in the bar and says, hey, have you guys heard about the story of the time that we went into White Plume Mountain? Let me tell you what that is. And then you guys grab your real characters and you play White Plume Mountain. And at the end, the framing device comes back to the bartender, whoever it goes, wasn't that a cool story? Well, and then someone else at the bar goes, well, let me tell you about this. And then you have new characters that come in.
Love that.
Right? So they've got this like framework built right into the book. Or you can just run it dungeon by dungeon by dungeon. Although, right, there's a guild that hired you to go do this, right? So,
I love it. You know what? I think I'd really like that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different flavors to each one of the dungeons is radically different. So,
Tomb of Annihilation. Dan, I know you're going to have a lot on this.
Yeah, I'll take this one because I still got Chult up on my wall here. It is basically a jungle exploration campaign. You are tasked to find an item that is causing people to not be able to be resurrected. This is session 1. It's from the get-go. You'll catch on to this.
From the get-go?
From the get-go.
Okay.
From the
get-go. I hate you.
From the Geico.
Save $99. No. Anyways, no, you get tasks in Port Nyanzaru to go and find a guide and go out and explore the wilds of Chult. And each of the guides which are provided, you could also create your own, but the provided ones have their own missions and claims, and then you pay them, and you have to worry about. It's very survivalistic. You have to worry about bug repellent because, of course, you're in the wildest jungle. Very prehistoric feel to it as well. There's dinosaurs everywhere. It's freaking-tastic. And then at the end, there's the Tomb of Annihilation.
It's got the original Lost World, not Jurassic Park, but like...
Yeah, the original Lost World feel to it, where it's like, this is a landlocked island nation. Oh, sorry, well, that makes no sense. This is an island nation that has not been heavily explored, and the interiors are always changing. There's a couple large religious organizations who are going after these items.
Gee, are there cultists?
There's cultists. But actually, funny enough, not many. There's like waves upon waves of undead. There's one of the minor villains is just creating hordes of undead and sending them out.
But because players, it probably ends up like Land of the Lost with Will Ferrell and Danny McBride.
You're not wrong. You're not. I think the first major encounter we had, we burnt down like a tenth of the jungle somehow.
But it ends with
The actual Tomb of Annihilation. You go and find the old gods. 3, 2, 1. Spoiler. Give it a moment. You go and find the temples of these old gods, and they give you your blessing to go and take down a Serac who is using their power to do something that is going to change the world forever, and has started by removing resurrection magic from the world. And people who have been resurrected are getting sick and dying.
But the tomb itself is a retread.
It's a remake of the Tomb of Horrors. In a way, it's far less deadly.
Because the actual deadly Tomb of Horrors is the last... I always say, I want to play 6 out of 7 modules in Tales from the Yawning Portal. The 7th is Tomb of Horrors.
Yeah.
Which is in all of its deadly glory in that one.
Now, Tomb of Annihilation takes you to level 12, and then it's making you fight some things. Like, there's a Beholder in there, there's an Aboleth in there, there's a gargantuan red dragon in there. Like, there's all of these things.
The red dragon's overpowered, but the other two are definitely within...
No, they're definitely not. They will wipe the floor with an average party. And there's some of the most intricate and amazing puzzles, and 3D puzzles as well. As a DM, if you are doing this for your party, please go through, read it a couple times first, just like Curse of Strahd. Get a handle on the hex grid exploration aspect and how you're going to do that, because it could get meandering, boring, and then your party's just rolling dice to pass time.
Yeah, so you gotta be comfortable.
So figure out a system before you start going, because you're wandering the jungles of Chultz, session 1.
Yeah.
So
let's talk Waterdeep. Waterdeep, 2 of them. We got Dragon Heist and Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Adam, I know this is ones you're a little bit more familiar with.
No. Oh, I'm familiar with them, but Dan...
Well, I know I'll take care of Dragon Heist. Dragon Heist is not a what you would expect it, where you're going to go heist a dragon's hoard, but it is actually a legit bank robbery. It is a heist one where you are dealing with different factions,
and the dragons are the coins. Is that
and
right?
yeah, a gold coin in the Forgotten Realms is called a dragon, and that's the big play on words that WotC has thrown at us. So the Dragon Heist is you're going to go loot a big pile of gold.
Very misleading titles.
Yeah, right. So, but it's lots of fun, and it spawns off into the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, which
is not as misleading.
Which is not. No, there's a Dungeon of the Mad Mage.
So,
and it's always existed under Waterdeep, and now there's a 5th edition module for it.
Yeah, I got to add something on this.
Dragon Heist is levels 1 to 5.
Yeah, and then Mad Mage is 5 to 20.
5 to 20.
Yeah, it's the only one that goes up to 20.
Yeah.
Of all the modules. But let me say this though. You can choose at the beginning of Dragon Heist which season it is, and depending on which season, which time of year, it's a brand new experience each time. It is
really,
yeah. It is built to have a radically different feel depending on what time of year you are doing the Dragon Heist in, which is a really cool way to start a major campaign, right?
Yeah.
So
I think I would like to do it in summer, because I've heard stories of different countries having summer. And I just always thought that maybe one day we would experience it.
What is summer?
So okay,
is that when the rain stops?
Summer is with the distant glow that we see in the sky sometimes.
Oh. You know that day and a half in August it's really warm.
Oh yeah, okay, that one. That's summer.
Yeah, that's summer. But other places have it for weeks. I've heard.
Oh, weird.
So.
Don't move to Vancouver, people. Don't move to Vancouver.
We rag on Canada, but Vancouver is probably the best place to be in Canada if you don't like winter. Yeah. As far as weather goes, it's essentially just Seattle. It rains a little bit all the time. Okay.
So Dungeon of the Mad Mage.
Dungeon of the Mad Mage. It's a super dungeon with loads going on.
Oh, yeah, it's a mega dungeon, and there's tons of stuff in it, and it just... Have you guys flipped through it?
No.
I have. Oh my god, it goes and goes and goes and goes and goes, and there are... Like, each chapter is the next level down, and it is madness, the stuff that goes on in there. And I know that it's like Dungeon of the Mad Mage, and it is batshit insanity in there, and it feels to me like a very well thought out funhouse dungeon. But it doesn't necessarily have a whole lot of... Like, every level is a different theme to it, but there is a through thread from level to level. But you're going to look back at level 5 of the Mega Dungeon and go, do you guys remember level 1 when we were doing this? People are going to be like, no.
Yeah.
No, I don't. It is so you get a really good look at the different flavors of dungeons all the way through. And I would pick this up. It's another one of these things like, Ravnik is really good for looking at the guilds that you can have, and Sword Coast is really good for looking at a lot of the Pantheon stuff that's in D&D. If you wanted to look at how to flavor different dungeons, Tales of the Yawning Portal does a really good job. My backup would be Dungeon of the Mad Mage.
Yeah.
What does a level
Just to
17
pull ideas.
Well, what's the level 17 dungeon look like?
Yeah.
They have one, right? And you can just flip open to be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to chapter 12. Mm-hmm. I want a high level dungeon because I need to challenge my party. What is that like?
Yeah, and it does actually get harder to become creative with these things when you're dealing with higher leveling parties, because there's so many more avenues that they can take. There's so many more abilities that it's harder to prep for those.
Yeah.
Dan, you've been doing so well.
You almost made it, man.
Almost made it.
That's only your second cough, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And we're in a long podcast too. This one's pretty.
I think it's your third one, actually.
Anyway, so since we prepped this, there's been a new book that has come out.
What? Oh, really? What?
Ghosts of Saltmarsh.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, I saw something about this. This is the pirate campaign, right?
No, you think that it would be, but it isn't.
Another misleading title.
So this is another one that, see, I thought it was all nautical rules at first.
Yeah.
How to do, ships and whatnot. Instead, it has all of that in it, but it is like Tales from the Yawning Portal again. It's 7 smaller nautical adventures.
Jeez.
Yeah, so we get another one of these. A lot of people run pirate campaigns. We're one of those people. A lot of people love to run that kind of stuff, but there's not a whole lot out
piracy
there.
In there?
Well, there's not a whole lot of nautical anything out there, right?
Yeah.
You get on a ship and then you get off a ship. Maybe you fight something while on the ship.
Yeah.
Right? But your ship gets boarded and you might as well be fighting on land.
Yeah.
Right? These are... and here's the thing about it. They're all classic nautical stuff from even first edition. It goes way back.
Really?
And it's all been adapted and brought forward into 5th.
Well, that's what they did with Tales of the Yawning Portal. There's some first edition stuff there too, right?
There were some, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, that is... It'll be out by the time that this releases.
Cool.
Ooh.
So...
it's out now.
Yeah.
In the future, where we are.
Hi, future selves.
And to answer your question, what's missing from D&D for me is underwater campaigns. There's a shit ton of underwater monsters and nothing underwater.
And I think there's so many player races, that you could do now where you could do an underwater campaign and you would be just fine.
Yeah, there's tons of them, and there's lots of ways to breathe underwater now. There's all sorts of magic items that let you do it as well.
Yeah.
Right, there are tons of options.
And they're cheap.
The only thing that they need to do is discuss 3D movement. And other than that, we're good. Mm-hmm. Right? And I just need to get that next.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like there may be some of that in Ghosts of Saltmarsh.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be enough. I think it's going to be port cities and pirate ships and coves and underground on desert islands and stuff. It's not going to be too much underwater cities of Sawagan.
Yeah.
Or however you pronounce it.
What about like... oh, shit. What's the campaign world where everything's dead? Dark Sun.
Yeah,
I like the idea of the world is like scorched and over, so everything kind of shifts.
You want to play
underwater.
You want to play that post-apocalyptic. You want to play Waterworld. You want to see Kevin Costner with gills.
I'd be all over that. That'd be badass.
I love Kevin Costner.
I want to play Dennis Hopper.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, fair one. God damn it, Dan!
I tried to hold it back.
What is the matter with you? I mean,
my throat's dry. My water's gone.
Your throat's been dry since January. Adam is losing his freaking mind.
No. I just realized that if I was going to play in an underwater campaign, if I'm going Waterworld and I'm going to play a Dennis Hopper, like with the eye patch, and he's on like the oil rig, and he's like the evil despot character, and man, he's going to be a grung because he's Dennis Hopper.
Or a bullywug.
Well, bullywug isn't a playable race in 5th Ed.
Are they not?
No.
It's not Volos?
No. No. They've got a lot about their society, but of the mobs, they're the least well fleshed out.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, team, I feel like we've come to a natural end there. We've ranted and vented about a lot.
Got mad at me for coughing.
Got mad at you
As
for
is
coughing.
tradition.
As is tradition, and also well deserved. the internet has seen how
You gave some ultimately
how
questionable
unusual.
life advice.
Well, I don't think it was questionable at all. Get back to me on my life advice,
Fucking
internet.
Snapchat bullshit.
No, that Snapchat trick that'll get you hooked up for sure. Okay, team. Is there any final points that anyone would like to throw out to the world while we have them?
Okay, yes. If you are interested in sending me dice that will not fail me, please reach out to me at Rusty Styrofoam, and I'll give you my address so you can mail them to me. I need your help.
Okay, fair point. You will never ever know where I live ever. Dan?
Yeah, no, same boat. The internet doesn't need to know where my children are.
Well, I'm just going to have them mail stuff with my name to your address.
Oh, okay. Well, now I need to move. Thanks for that.
You guys don't just get shit mailed to work? That's what I do.
My job site changes once every 6 months.
You don't have an office?
No, my office is my friend's or my boss's house.
Do you want to hear it? I got. Well, I don't know if it's an accident. I got kicked out of my office because of my job. I move around so much. I'm only at my office like once a week for like a morning. And one day I just showed up to work and there was like some other dude's like family pictures like on my desk. I was like, what the fuck is this? And they were like, oh, that's where Mark works. I was like, no. Does anyone know who I am, by the way? No. I was like, get this guy out. So then I had to pick all this guy's stuff and put it in the car. I don't know where he is now. But yeah, I got kicked out of my office just from literally never being there. But BS. But anyway, that's got nothing to do with anything.
I also got kicked out of my office.
Aww.
Let's not finish on this. Adam!
I think that was a good fade out.
Okay. And on that awkward bombshell, we'll see you next time on It's a Mimic. What are we talking about next, guys? Clerics! Yep. Bible thumpers. We out.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to It's a Mimic. Check us out online at itsamimic.com or on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Have questions you would like answered by the guys on the show? Send them an email to itsamimic@gmail.com. Tune in every Tuesday for more.
Adam is leaving. Dan's left as well. Now it's just me. Here's some sage advice from your old Uncle Terry.
Uncle Terry!
If you accidentally like somebody's picture from 72 weeks ago on Instagram, I need you to immediately change your name. Change it to the opposite sex, set all of your settings to private, and then leave it like that for 2 weeks. The person who saw that you liked their picture from 72 weeks ago will wonder why a woman named Michaela, who she's never seen before because you took a picture from Google, liked a picture from 72 weeks ago. Leave your private account set as that for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, they'll try to stop figuring it out. Your friends and family are going to reach out to you wondering why you've changed your name to Michaela and you pulled a picture from Google. But that's not important. What's important is that person will never know that it was you that accidentally liked their picture from 72 weeks ago.
Are you teaching the internet how to reverse catfish?
I don't know what Terry just said, but I endorse it completely.
More on this later.